Welcome back to my strategic management class. In the last class, we discussed about strategy formulation in that human resource strategy. So, uh, the attracting, developing, and retaining high quality employees, facilitation of change, workforce diversity, empowerment of HR. So, these are the topics we discussed in the last class. We will continue with this HR strategy. So there is an sometimes there is two things when concerned with the empowerment of employees. One is employee empowerment, another is a employee involvement. Actually, employee involvement includes, including the key or employees who are a part in the part of the decision making. Okay, so when important decisions pertaining to the progress of the organizations are taken, we need to include the employees. So that is employee involvement. And empowerment, as we see, is giving rights and power to the employees to take a decision which will be beneficial for the organization. So, creating an environment for employees to involve in the activities of the organization and make an impact towards decision made on behalf of the organization. So, that's employee involvement, and the process of allowing the employees to make suggestions or opinions on improving the efficiencies of current activities and about the overall productivity of the organization. So, by giving them the right power to take decisions, okay, to give suggestions, and even ask them for suggestions and opinions. We are empowering them, we are motivating them. So what happens, the management will get lot of inputs so that they can take a better and efficient decision to solve the customers problems or issues of the customers, and lead the organization in its right direction. So employee empowerment is a very beneficial, and it is a must for the organization. Then the HRM strategy, building core competencies. So core competencies are measurable on the job behaviors that an organization desires to implement within its workforce. Actually, what is the meaning of core? Very important one. What is the meaning of competency? So competency in general, it's a combination of skill, knowledge, ability, and attitude of a person. If someone says, I'm competent person for this job, means I should have the right skill, I should have the right knowledge, I should have the attitude. Okay, attitude is very important for any job. Say for instance, if I'm a lecturer, I'm a teacher, even though I have the knowledge, I have the skill to teach, but I don't have the attitude, which is very important for a lecturer, is to share the knowledge or share things whatever he learned. Okay, so whatever he experienced. So if I really don't have that right attitude to share, then I am not a good lecturer or efficient teacher. So competency is a combination of skills, knowledge, and attitude. So what happens here in this one, building core competency means it is like creating and developing the competencies of the which includes the skills, knowledge, and attitude of the employees in the organization in order to achieve the company vision, mission, objectives, so that they are able to go in the right direction to achieve the business goal. Here we can see what are the core competency skills required by the employees. So we have divided that into three areas. One is interpersonal skills, another one is a personal skills, and the third one is a business skills. So interpersonal skill means between one employee to another employee. That's a leadership skill, very, very important. So every supervisor or manager should not only be managing things, that they should also lead. Okay. So I mean, what is the difference between the leader and the manager? Means manager just request or guide the subordinates to do things, but leader is really one who motivate them to do. Okay, they themselves be a classic example. They do it and motivate their followers to do that. So what happens? One of the important skill the employee should develop is a leadership skill, and motivator. Motivator means till to some extent employees can expect to have eccentric motivation. That is a motivation from outside, from the superior, from the boss, from their colleagues. But once they started growing, okay, the motivation from the should be from internally. That is a intrinsic motivation. So they should motivate in such a way that once they have achieved something, okay, then they should just give a pat on their pat to themselves and say, oh, today I have achieved something. So I'm very happy. So they should be an getting internal motivation. So motivation is must, especially at the time of a crisis, especially things are not going as planned. So motivation is a factor which keeps a person or employee keeps to go further or keep going. They should also develop a negotiator. They need to negotiate as an employee. When they grow up as a manager, they need to negotiate with the external parties. It can be a supplier, a distributor, it can be a customer also, it can be a subordinate who they need to negotiate in terms of compensation package and all those things, or they need to negotiate with their, as I mentioned, the external parties like customer or distributor for a good packaging or some solve some issues. So negotiation skill is one of the one they need to exhibit, which is required for day-to-day operations. Then consensus builder, they need to have good rapport with the people around them, internally with the employees and externally with the stakeholders. Okay, and then team builder, very important now. Employees are in a situation where they need to work in a diverse an environment. They should have a good support from their this thing subordinates. They should have a good team. They should build. They should be able to work as a team and build a good team. Okay, so that they are able to achieve the organizational objective. So these are the some of the interpersonal skills they should exhibit. They should develop, and then personal skills again. They should be motivated. Okay, both. Not only expect from outside, they should internally motivate. The innovative, very, very important. Now, organizations are facing a lot of challenges from the environment, which includes pressure from the competitors. Okay, so organizations are expected to satisfy their target customer, okay, in a better manner than the competitors. So this is only possible through offering innovative products and services to the customer. So innovation is it's born through the uh, I mean employees. It's so employees need to be more creative. So creativity is the mother of all innovation. So a employee should develop a creativity skill, thereby they can come up with the innovative product and services. And experience also, experience means with the passage of time they will learn new skills. They will undergo and see people of different culture and both internally and externally. So with that, they should develop experience, communication and consultation. So communication is very, very important. They say 70% both body, I mean, body language is also very important. Oral communication is also important. So communication aspect they should really develop and improve. The third one is business skills. So this is pertaining to the operational level, and then business skills with accounting, a basic knowledge of accounting, how things are happening, what is the financial, especially understanding the financial aspect. Accounting is very important. Economics area, some people may not like, but the concepts of economic, like demand, what do you say, how the demand increases and decreases, how it affects. In other terms, there is a terminology called elasticity of demand. Okay, so how when demand increases, it increases the price of the product. How the demand goes, the price also goes. So basic economics is very important. Then compliance, a legal one. Okay, so business law. That's why the employee should know, because every day they are facing with so many challenges, which is coming from internally from the staff members, externally from outside, maybe from the customers, maybe other stakeholders, like monetary agencies and all those things. So a lot of legal issues are there. As a manager or as an employee who is holding a managerial position should also update themselves with the legal issues, okay, which is pertaining to the organization, so that they can avoid any litigation, that is the act of external party or employee suing the company. So updating with the business laws is very, very important. The next one is a technology. This is like very, very important for all the employees at all the levels, updating with the technology, because the technology help us to upgrade our product and services, facilitate the staff to perform in a better manner, helps in improving the processes of the operations, and it helps to take the product from the manufacturer uh, to the customer. So technology helps and facilitate the organization in several ways. So updating technology and utilization of the right technology at the right time is very, very important. And then marketing skills. Marketing is is not just after a product it is produced, is like only for sales. It is marketing is very important, right from the understanding, identifying who is the target customer, and understanding the needs and wants of the target customer, and then creating the products and services which fulfills the needs and wants of the target customer better than the competitors is very, very important when when it comes to the marketing. So marketing knowledge is very important for all the staff. And statistics, some statistics means statistic means numbers, how our business is doing in terms of customers, in terms of business profit, and how competitors are doing. Some numbers and ratios will help us to analyze the business health. So as an employee, especially for the employees who are at the managerial level, okay, it is very important for them to develop the skills in the areas of interpersonal, personal, and business, so that they are more competent, more productive to the organization, and helps the organization to achieve its objectives and vision and mission. Next topic is we see is the development of work ethics and culture. Okay, so we have seen the day by day the employee workforce is becoming more diverse. Then there is the issue of ethics, because ethics and culture differ from one background to another background, one race to another race, one religion to another region. So good and thorough knowledge of what is the ethics and how the culture works for different people from diverse background is very important. So culture plays a vital role in an organization's success. HR team should help build and manage a strong culture by reinforcing organizational values. Okay, so they should give some like sort of orientation at the time of recruiting recruiting new people, and then ongoing training to what do you say, to make the employees feel the values, understand the values the organization hold. So and reinforcing once in a while, okay, ensuring the organizational ethics are defined, understood, and practiced. So what is the meaning of ethic? Ethic is a way what is take decision what is right and what is wrong. Okay, so ethic is something related to legal issues also, and certain things may be legal but may not be ethical. So what happens, ethics is differ, as I mentioned. Ethic will differ from one culture to another culture. It's the aspect of organization has its as own culture, has its own ethics. So the basic values of the organization should be clearly explained and make the staff understand their ethics which are practiced in the organization. So enabling two-way communications and feedback channels. So what happens, only if it is a one-way communication, that is from the management or HR to the employees, is not sufficient to instill the values among the employees, but they should also try to take feedback from the employees. Okay, communicating through deriving proper channels and ways to get the feedback is very very important. So they can get idea what extent the employees understand in these areas. So defining roles, responsibilities, and accountabilities. So where this is possible to define them and this thing, okay, by giving them proper roles and responsibilities and what they are accountable for. Okay, so that the employees cannot run away from their responsibilities. Okay, so this is possible by giving the employees, what do you say, at the time of recruitment, giving them, explaining them what is the role expected and what they need to be duties and responsibilities they need to display. So this will help them to maintain the ethics. Providing continuous learning and training. So as mentioned earlier, the training is not a, what you say, is a just one time one, it's an ongoing one. So when the HR can decide about training is that whenever there is an evaluation done, that's every 3 months or 6 months, depending upon the organizational policy, organization will undergo the evaluation of the staff. So after evaluation, then there is a need arise for training. Okay, so training may be in the area of leadership, area of communication, area of technical knowledge. This training should be ongoing and should be not a general one. It's specific to the needs of the each and every employees. Okay, certain employees may be like they are poor in communication. So this is identified through the evaluation. So once the manager or the superior, realize that the staff need to undergo a training, then the training should be given. So training should not be general, as I mentioned. It should be very specific, depending upon the requirement of the employees. So providing continuous learning and training and sustained reward and recognition system, very important. Just communicating is not enough. Okay, they should identify and reward people who are really following the culture and ethics. They should also be rewarded, appreciated. Okay, so this will motivate and this will reinforce them to do the right things again and again. Okay, so they should plan reward systems and recognition system, how they are recognizing the good deeds done by the employees. Okay, so encouraging empowerment and teams. Okay, so empowerment we have seen already. Okay, giving rights to the employees to take the right decision and also involving them in making key decisions in the attaining the strategy of the organization, and motivating teams. Now team is very very important, because team gives more ideas, more inputs, and then brings cohesiveness among the employees. So there are a lot of advantages. Then the last one is a 360-degree feedback. That's a evaluation system. Every organization, they have their own evaluation system. So one of the effective one, this 360-degree is a very, prominent in the organization, which is a production, which is a manufacturing unit. So it is also known as a multi-rater feedback. The 360-degree feedback is also known as multi-rater feedback. Is a system in which anonymous feedback is gathered about a member of a staff from various people they have working relationship with. Usually evaluation is done by a superior, okay, a manager or a supervisor does for its subordinates. That's a usual this thing. In 360-degree feedback, the feedback is taken from the manager or supervisor, from the employees, colleagues. Colleagues means the employees, other employees who are at the same position of the employee, and even the subordinate to that particular employee, then from the supplier, okay, from all the aspects. Okay, so this is as I mentioned, this is quite common in a organization which is a manufacturing unit. This is usually their managers, peers, direct reports, subordinates, hence the name 360-degree angle. So it is taken from all the people who the employee work with. Okay, so that is the 360-degree this thing. So so that's all for this chapter. Okay, thank you.